was on the fence to being canceled. I mean, he was right on his way to being canceled, and then he won. I mean, the stuff that he pulled in Australia prior to the fight, the stuff that he pulled, I mean, oh my gosh, it would make you so nervous watching it. And then he won. And all of a sudden it changed. All of a sudden those weird things that he was saying started to become interesting things he was saying. And they started to be cool things. And then started to be, hey, don't take the microphone from him like you were planning to do. Give him more microphones. I want to hear more from him. I agree with you. Like, he goes from almost being canceled to on the road. He's not there yet, but of being a culture warrior. And it's just one of these things. But Errol, the reason he can get away with it is because what you just said, he's connecting so well. You know, he wrote a piece. It was very heartfelt and touching, and I trust that you saw it, in response to a malley and DDP, and he put it out for the whole world to see. And it was one of those things where all of a sudden this brash and rude, and you start to see the vulnerability, and you start to see where the anger that he releases in the cage came from. And you do start to see a very real person. And I agree with you. It is fascinating to understand that Sean Strickland is only 1 or 2 wins away from being a top 3 star in the entire industry.
We got Bodybuilder Funk in the building. Quadzilla. What do those guys do? They do a little thing like this. Yeah. Yeah, get the other side. Something like that. I think I'm doing it right.
Probably would have done my whole career in Pride if the UFC didn't buy him, and then I was back there. I left the UFC just because that was a money thing. I asked them for a certain amount and they said no, and I said okay, thanks, and then went to Strikeforce and asked them for the same amount and they said okay. And
you remember they used to give us cash money? Oh man, I missed that.
That's why I say I relate myself to a stripper, because when I first started fighting in Pride, I was only going to do it for a year because I had just finished wrestling. And I was going to go to chiropractic school, actually. I was accepted, then put it off for 4 years, but then I started fighting. So then I was like, well, you know, I'll fight and make some money for about a year. And that was when I first got to Pride. They paid you in cash, and I'm like, man, that cash is kind of hard to walk away from. I'm like a stripper that thinks she's only going to do it for a year, and she's still doing it when she's 46. That was me.
Looking at the total strikes here, you got more total strikes, same amount to the head. You were in control much
5
longer
minutes
than he
more
was.
control time.
I mean, this is, I didn't see the fight and I'm sorry, but you know, I couldn't make it. But I mean, it looks like you won on paper. Do you think now that you're a Trump supporter outwardly, this cost you fight?
I do believe that. You know, I think they stacked the deck against us because they don't want we the people to have control of this country again, and that's what Trump stands for. He stands for democracy. He stands for freedom. So they're going to do everything they can to keep us down, you know, from shadow banning us online. Even if we're saying the truth, you know, they're not going to let us, they're going to make us censored, not let the people see that. You know, if it's in a judging position in a fight or any type of athletic sporting event, they're going to stack the deck against us. So it's a sad time in our country, but, you know, we the people, we need to rise up, and we can't let this keep us down.
People are going to say, oh, well, Leon beat Usman and Colby. He's going to be the GOAT to the welterweight. But no, you haven't fought me yet.
What happens when you fight him?
When I fight him, I'm going to break him. I think that I'm going to walk him down. I'm going to show him, I'm going to show the world what would have happened that first fight. And I'm going to show everybody how great I am. And I'm going to be the best welterweight in the world.
Darren Till. This is the new Karate Combat Heavyweight Champion. This is the best shot you're ever going to have to beat me. Come meet me in the pit. Come meet me in the pit.
What pain level are you in? Yep, 1 to 10 there.
Oh my God! All right, Darren Till. I sure hope he's okay. Awesome, brother.
Stirckland. Thank you, sir.
You guys need to stay longer now.
I'll be back. I'll be back.
Hey man, I was just watching something with my lady, and I got the pay-per-view numbers, and me and her were going through it, and I'm just like, these are the numbers that this guy was trying to say, like he's this big pay-per-view star. I'm just like, oh my God. And then when I saw the numbers, I literally said to her, if I had any idea this is what the numbers would have been, if I could have predicted that this is what it would have been, my ass would have waited and taken my vacation then and then gear up to fight now. Because this is ultimately when they said I would be able to fight in like January, February, March. Because if I didn't fight in August, I wouldn't have any other spots. So it is what it is. I rolled the dice. I trusted that the bag was going to be this, wow, blow me away kind of thing, bigger than all the other ones. It wasn't. So with that being said, it is what it is. I'm still happy I made some extra money. I had a really good year. I can't complain about that. Life's good. I can take care of myself. I can take care of my family. I can make, I try to look at things glass half full versus then pointing to all these other things. Like, yeah, I know the circumstances, the guys who follow the sport and knew my situation of how I was coerced into that fight. Ultimately, it was my decision, but it was never like, if you don't do this, you're cut. If you don't do this, we strip you of your belt. It was like, this is a situation. You either take it or you don't. And I decided to roll the dice, and things just didn't go my way. But if I had more time to heal, I think the outcome maybe would have been a little bit different. That's just my 2 cents, but who knows? So I know not everybody has watched the podcast, but here's the context. I'm going to do the homework for you so you don't have to be extra lazy. I never said I was a pay-per-view star. My opponent did. I never asked to fight early. My opponent did. I took the fight thinking that this guy was the magical pony, leprechaun, clown, funny-haired guy, but in hindsight, it's always 2020. My ass would have waited, but still a decent payday, but definitely not the biggest. And I know it's not because of me. I never said I was a draw. I just like to get paid, have fun, and entertain. That's it. See you guys on Saturday.
Te hablo banda, te juro banda, te juro banda. Presta, presta, presta again. Again, one more.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.